રક્ષા યુનિવર્સિટીના ચોથા કોન્વોકેશન સમારોહમાં નાણામંત્રી નિર્મલા સીતારમણ દ્વારા મહત્વપૂર્ણ નિવેદન આપવામાં આવ્યું. આજના ઝડપી બદલાતા વિશ્વમાં ટેકનોલોજી જીવન અને અર્થવ્યવસ્થાને આકાર આપી રહી છે. ડિજિટલ ક્રાંતિએ અમૂલ્ય સુવિધાઓ, જોડાણ અને આર્થિક વૃદ્ધિ લાવી છે. ઓનલાઈન બેન્કિંગ, ઈ-કોમર્સ, ડિજિટલ શિક્ષણ અને આરોગ્ય સેવાઓ જેવી પ્રગતિ દ્વારા ટેકનોલોજીએ જીવન અને કાર્યપદ્ધતિમાં વ્યાવસાયિક અને સગવડતા લાવી છે. આ વધતી ડિજિટલ હાજરીએ વ્યક્તિગત અને આર્થિક શરતોને સુધારવા માટે લોકોના સશક્તિકરણમાં વધારો કર્યો છે. પરંતુ આ ફાયદાઓ સાથે સાયબર હુમલાઓ અને ડિજિટલ ખતરાઓની દ્રષ્ટિએ જોખમ પણ છે. આ વ્યક્તિગત અને રાષ્ટ્રીય સુરક્ષા માટે ચેલેન્જીસ પેદા કરે છે. આ જ બાબતને નિર્મલા સીતારમણે રક્ષા યુનિવર્સિટીના ચોથા કોન્વોકેશન સમારોહમાં આવરી લીધા હતા, જ્યાં તેમણે ગ્રેજ્યુએટ્સ અને મહેમાનોને સંબોધતા કહ્યું કે જ્યારે આપણે શારીરિક બોર્ડર્સ માટે સુરક્ષા જોઈએ છે, ત્યારે આપણે ડિજિટલ જગતને સુરક્ષિત કરવા માટે તે જ રીતે ટેકનોલોજી વિશે જાણકારી ધરાવતા લોકોની જરૂર છે. નિર્મલા સીતારમણના નિવેદનનો મુખ્ય અંક એ હતો કે ડિજિટલ જગતની સુરક્ષા હવે ભારતમાં આર્થિક વિકાસ માટે મહત્વપૂર્ણ બની ગઈ છે. ડિજિટલ મનોરંજકતા અને વિકાસ સાથે પણ સાયબર હુમલાઓને અટકાવવા માટે ટેક-સેવી બળોની પૂરકતા જરૂરી છે. ડિજિટલ ખતરા સામેની લડાઈ માટે સુરક્ષા બળોની જરૂરિયાત. આ સાથે રક્ષા યુનિવર્સિટી માટે સિટી દાવની આક્રમક રાષ્ટ્રીય સુરક્ષા દ્રષ્ટિ અને ખોટા નવા જમાનો માટે આમંત્રિત કરવામાં આવી હતી.
It is at this juncture, it is important for us to recognize newer challenges which are facing the country's security, not just at the borders. Today, technology doesn't wait to recognize borders. Technology, as much as it's available for us to increase productivity, technology is also being misused by some vested interests or dark forces who, because they have that skill, it is being put to wrong use, can be a threat for our financial services, for our national security in terms of attacking our institutions, which do give the backup support for those who are fighting for us at the front. Moreover, with technology giving us the benefit in the sense that we are able to today do many of our transactions through the digital use, which is much enabled because of the public infrastructure which we have created, the digital public infrastructure that we've created for ourselves. And as a result, you find that enabler which makes people's lives easier, the digital public infrastructure, is also facing a threat in that people who misuse their skills in the digital world can even threaten many of our installations, many of our digital payment areas, or even the digital areas with which many of our institutions, primary institutions, premier institutions run, whether it is the stock markets, whether it's the banks, whether it's the payment institutions, whether even those portals which run your daily services of e-marketing, or even those which are running platform services for fetching your cabs or for any others. So the more the digital presence in our lives, which makes our economic condition better, because people are able to now, even in remote areas, able to access markets globally, because they have a digital presence and access to digital portals. They are able to reach all the parts of the world to sell their produces. Equally, because of the strength of this kind of an access, you have people targeting them. And that's where, as much as you need physical force to take care of our borders, we need forces within the country who are tech savvy, who are also conscious of the threats that are before us to protect our digital world, which is now a big catalyst for our economy to grow leaps and bounds. So this university, therefore, plays a very critical role in making sure a country which is growing, a country which is emerging with all those technology and also human power which many emerging markets do not have. I would even go to that extent to say many developed countries as well do not have the digital prowess that our country is seeing in the last 10 years. That digital prowess helped us during COVID. We were able to reach all our citizens wherever they were by sheer pressing of a button, and monies would go into their accounts. Vaccination was delivered because of the digital prowess. While manpower was on the field, the persons who got vaccinated knew what vaccine was given to them by sheer data which reached them on their phones. So technology today has seeped into every part of our lives. And it is that which is giving us that lubrication for reaching a very high level of economic development. In saying all this, I like to highlight the fact that in the last few years, the emphasis given for defense production in this country is a matter of pride. Not just investments, policy support has made India today a net exporter of defense components. Earlier, we were one of the biggest importers. And today, when you have exports happening from India, whether it's big vectors, whether it is BrahMos, or a missile, or smaller components for various different components, India is becoming the hub for defense production. And that is a big policy achievement under Prime Minister Modi. And there are a few data that I'd like to share with you just to emphasize on what level of achievement is happening. From being the second largest arms importer in 2015 to 19, as I said, India is now among the top 25 arms exporters, with over 100 companies exporting products like BrahMos missile, Pinaka rocket systems, and Dornier aircrafts. Now, India has achieved the highest ever growth in indigenous defense production. And this is where I'd like to share the number. In value terms, today we've reached a record high of 1.27 lakh crores in 23-24, and that is a 2.7-fold increase over 2014-15. Defense exports too reached an all-time high, surging 21,083 crores, and that is from 23-24. And where was this earlier in 2013-14? We were only exporting 686 crores in 2013-14. So you see that a 30-fold increase has happened in defense exports. More than 80% of the global goods trade happens via ships. They're carried via ships across all the seas, with ports seen as a key to prosperity. Broader national security concerns are also linked with it. Over the last decade, we have doubled the capacity of our ports. I need these young qualifying people to understand, as much as you are training yourself with good institutions, Rashtra Raksha University being one, India's investments in these areas are also going up, and I want you to be sure that the policy of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is to ensure that our borders are given that much attention with policy and money. So we have doubled the capacity of our ports, reaching 1,630 MTPAs, million tons per annum. By March 24, that is, compared to 800 MTPA in 2014. So rapid changes and increase in capacities. We also have achieved low-level dwell time of approximately 2.6 days at our ports, which is competitive even when you compare it with many of the developing countries. Dwell time actually increases the cost. The lower it is, it's better for the shipping industry. Turnaround time equally of our major ports has reduced to around 48 hours. Where was it before in 2013-14? 94 hours. From there, it has come down. You also know, because you are in Gandhinagar, gift cities here, they also have now taken significant steps for robust ship leasing and financing ecosystem in GIFT IFSC. The reason why I'm quoting so much on ports and also maritime security is the recent attacks in the commercial shipping arena in the Red Sea area. October 23 to March 24, for example, is a threat to the global shipping movements, commercial shipping movements. And many of us from India were happy to know and proud to know that Indian Navy and Coast Guard were the first responders to make sure that ships which are being held by pirates or ships which are abandoned because of such piracy, and the people who are on board have all been rescued by our first responders, the Coast Guard and the Navy. So we are already doing that kind of a response mechanism which many other countries more stronger, bigger than us are not able to do. So in terms of being the first responder, India has earned a special name, and first responders are also master in disaster management. They're also management experts in terms of human resources, and they also have to do the first aid on the spot when they reach, all of which are various silos of earning which this university provides.